this is the yarn I'm going to be using. They're all weight for acrylic yarn. Honestly, you don't even need like 4 skeins. You could either use like half a skein and you'll still have enough to make this pillow. So for the materials, I'm going to be using a pair of scissors, a 3.75mm hook. I recommend you size down for the hook, to be honest. And then this is optional, but a stitch marker if you want to keep count of your stitches. And some fibre fill. I actually got this from a pillow, but you can actually just go out and buy fibre fill. If you don't have like an old pillow you can get it from, so yeah. Right, so starting off with the white, I'm going to go ahead and make a magic ring. If you don't know how to do that, basically, you're just going to pinch your yarn like this, hold on it, and then you're going to wrap it around your fingers, and you're going to form an X at the top, just like that. Then you're going to take your hook, you're going to go under the first, over the second, grab it, and pull it towards you, and then take this yarn right here, and make a chain. And that's how you make a magic ring. So now you can take your fingers out, and let's begin. So please don't mind any background noise, it's from construction outside, but I'm going to chain an additional 1. Alright, so we're going to start by working 12 double crochets in this magic ring. This chain 2 up here does not count as our first one, so I'm going to yarn over, we're going to go in this ring, we're going to yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, so at this point you can go ahead and mark this first stitch with your stitch marker. So this is our chain 2 right here, and you're going to be marking this stitch right here. Just like that. So now I'm going to put my hook back in, and we're going to be working 11 more double crochets in this magic ring. So I'm going to yarn over, go in the ring, yarn over and pull through 1, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. That's our second one, so now we're just going to keep repeating that for a total of 12 times. Alright, so I've got 12 double crochet in this magic ring. Make sure you recount and make sure you got 12. But now I'm going to go ahead and close this ring just slightly. We're going to fully close it in a bit. Now I'm going to take a hold of my yarn, and we're going to slip stitch to this first stitch that we marked. So I'm going to go ahead and take out my stitch marker, and we're just going to slip stitch right in there. So we're going to yarn over and pull through that stitch, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through this loop on our hook. Okay? And then we can take a hold of this tail and tighten the hole, just like that, and we've completed round 1. So to start round 2, I'm going to start off by chaining 2, so 1, 2, and then we're going to be working increases. Increases basically means 2 double crochets in each stitch. So I'm going to go into this first stitch right here, and we're going to work 2 double crochet. That's our first one. Go ahead and mark that if you're a beginner. And then we're going to do 1 more, and that makes 2. So in each stitch we're going to put 2 double crochets in them, and that's what you're going to repeat all the way until you've reached that very first stitch that we worked. Alright, and I've gone ahead and I've worked all the way around. You should have a total of 24 stitches. So now I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch to our first stitch of the round. Yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over and pull through this one as well. To start round 3, I'm going to go ahead and chain 2, and then we're going to be working an increase in our first double crochet. So that's 2 double crochet in 1 stitch. That's our first one. And that's our second one. Now I'm going to go ahead and mark our first one. Sorry, I didn't mark it before. Alright, and then in the next stitch, we're only going to be working 1 double crochet in there. Okay, then we're going to go into our next stitch, and we're going to be working 2 double crochets in that stitch, which is also called an increase. And then in our following stitch, we're only going to be working 1 double crochet, and that's the pattern we're going to be doing all the way around this circle. So we've just worked a double crochet in this stitch, so we're going to go into our next stitch with 2 double crochets. And yeah, just keep repeating that. So 2 double crochet, then 1 double crochet, then 2 double crochet, then 1 double crochet. And that's basically what you're going to do all the way around, and I'll meet you at the start. Alright, so now I've reached the end, so I'm going to go ahead and take the stitch marker out, and we're going to go into that stitch with a slip stitch. So we're going to yarn over, pull through that stitch, and then yarn over and pull through the loop on our hook, and then tighten that. Alright, so to start round 4, basically I'm going to chain 2, And then in our first stitch, we're going to start off with our increase, which is just 2 double crochets in 1 stitch. So I've done 2 double crochet in our first stitch. So now in the next 2 stitches, we're going to be working 1 double crochet. So that's our first. Then we're going to go into our second stitch and do a second double crochet. And then we're going to work our increase, which is 2 double crochet all in 1 stitch. So we're going to yarn over. That's our first one. And that's our second. Then we're going to go again in the next 2 stitches. We're only working 1 double crochet. So that's our first, second, and then in 1 stitch we're just going to be working 2 double crochet, or also what you would call an increase. And yeah, that's basically what we're doing. So just keep doing that. So it's going to be 2 double crochets in the next 2 stitches, and in the next stitch is going to be an increase, which is 2 double crochet in 1 stitch. So just keep doing that until you've reached the start. We've reached the start, so I'm going to go in that first stitch and work a slip stitch. Okay, so at this point I'm going to switch colors over. So I'm going to get my new color. So to attach a new color, I'm basically just going to take my yarn like this, and I'm just going to go like this and wrap it around this finger. And basically I'm just going to take this and I'm going to loop it through our thing right now, and then I'm going to take my working white yarn and I'm just going to pull on it to tighten it, and then take the working yarn of my new color and just go like that to adjust the hole, like that. So I'm going to flip this to the back now, and I'm going to snip off my previous yarn from this and then just tie it into a knot with the tail end of our new color. Okay, so I'm going to start off by chaining 2, 1, 2, and we're going to be working in the back loop. So to go under both loops it would look like this, but to go in the back loop we're only going into that back loop. Okay, so I'm going to go over my loose ends while I do this. So I'm going to yarn over, we're going to go into the back loop of our very first. This would be going under both, but we're only going through the back loop. So I'm going to yarn over, I'm going to go into that back loop, I'm going to take my tail ends and I'm going to yarn and weave over them as I go. So I'm going to yarn over and pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, then we're going to do 1 more double crochet in there. So in that exact same space, just like that. Alright, so in the next 3 stitches we're going to work 1 double crochet. So I'm going to yarn over, go into the back loop, I'm going to go over my ends, I'm going to yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and we're going to do that for 2 more times, and our last time. Alright, so then I'm going to do an increase in our next stitch, so we're going to go in there, go over our tails, that's our first, and that's our second, and then in the next 3 stitches only work 1 double crochet in them. At this point I'm going to go ahead and just tuck my loose ends to the back and just keep doing this. So we've just worked our first regular double crochet, so we're going to do 2 more within the next 2 stitches. That's our first one, and that's our second one, and that's the pattern we're going to be doing. So we're going to be doing an increase, and then 3 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then an increase in the next stitch, and so on. So that's what we're going to be doing all the way until we reach the end. Now we've reached the end, so I'm going to go into this first stitch with a slip stitch. Okay, so I'm going to chain 2 to start our new round, and I'm going to be showing you how to do this one more time because it gets pretty repetitive. So basically, in this first stitch, going under both loops, we're going to do an increase, so 2 double crochets in 1 stitch. That's our first, and that's our second. And now, since in our previous row we did 3 double crochet then an increase, in this row we're going to be doing 4 double crochets and then an increase. So in the next 4 stitches we're just going to work 1 double crochet, and in that 5th stitch we're going to work an increase. So it's going to be our first, second, hold on, my yarn's kind of tangled, third, fourth, and in that fifth stitch right here we're going to be working our increase. Alright, so that's what you're going to keep repeating. So you're going to do that all the way down. So it's just 4 double crochet and then an increase, 4 double crochet, increase. You're going to do that all the way until you reach the start. And then once you've reached the start, you're going to slip stitch the very first double crochet that we worked, and then we're going to chain 2. And then instead of doing 4 double crochet, then an increase, we're going to do 5 double crochet, then an increase. So then our next row would be 6 double crochet, then an increase, and our 7th row would be 7, then increase, 8, increase, 9, increase, and so on. So you're just going to keep doing that every single time, but each row should be gaining an additional 12 stitches. So if we count our first round, this is 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, so this one should be 72, and the next one would be 84, then 96, then 108, and so on. So just keep doing that. So this is the amount of rounds I did. I'm putting it on the screen because I don't really know how big I want this, so editing future me will tell you how much I did. But yeah, just keep working that until it's as big as you want it to be. Alright guys, so I've been going around and I decided to do a total of 6 rows of the green, so I have a total of 120 stitches. So now I'm going to stop here, so we're just going to slip stitch to the top of the first double crochet that we made. So we're going to go in here, yarn over and pull through 1, yarn over and pull through the 1 on our hook, and then I'm going to go ahead and chain 1, and then I'm going to snip off my yarn and then pull that through. So now the base is practically done, but now we need to go ahead and make the 8. So I'm going to be showing you how to make the 8. So you're going to need your needle so we can go ahead and embroider the 8 onto the circle. So I'm going to take my black yarn, or like whatever yarn you want to use to make the 8. So I'm going to take some of it. I'm going to take about from here all the way to like right here. That's what I'm going to take of the black to make this 8. Okay. And then I'm going to weave this through my needle. I'm going to take the yarn and I'm just going to fold it like this, and then I'm going to put it through my needle. Alright, so basically now that I have my yarn through my needle, what I'm going to do, right, is that we're going to insert our needle from the back side. So if I go to the back real quick, you're going to kind of poke your needle through the front, okay? But I'm going to poke it kind of, I want it to be poked right here, so I'm going to kind of locate it at the back. Just like that. Okay, so once I've located it at the back and I've pointed my needle through, I'm going to go ahead and just push that through and then pull it out on the other side. Okay, now if I turn it to the back, this is how it looks. And I'm just going to go ahead and tie this to our tail. I'm just going to double knot that. Okay? So now I'm going to turn it back to this side and I'm going to start forming the 8. So now that we're at the front side, I'm going to put my needle in right here. Okay, so I'm putting it in this space right here. And then I'm just going to pull through. See how my needle's on the back side? I'm pulling through. Just like that. Okay, so that's how that looks. Then I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go through the back once again, but I want it to kind of be right here. So I'm going to kind of angle my needle from the back and try to pull it back through where we made this first space, as you can see, and then pull that out. Just like that. Then I'm going to put my needle back. We're going to do it about right here, so we can kind of form this 8. So I'm going to do it about right here. Okay, do you see that? I'm pointing it in right here, and now I'm just going to pull that through. And then I'm going to locate this exact same spot, but from the back, but my needle fell out, so I'm going to put it back in here. Okay, so I'm now locating this at the back. So it's right around here. And I'm pointing that in and pulling that through. And then we are going to go back to where we started. So we're going to kind of line it up with this one. So we'll poke it in about right here and then pull that through the back. You see what I'm doing? Like, I'm kind of trying to form an 8. So now I'm going to poke my needle from the back and we're going to poke it in right here. So on the back side, as you can see, I'm going to poke it in and then I'll pull that through. And then from the front, I'm just going to fit my needle right about here where we started and pull that through. Okay, so we completed the top of the 8, so now I'm going to do the bottom of the 8. So I'm going to try to insert my needle from here, obviously through the back. So we're going to go right around. I'm going to try to insert it in there. Okay, so this is like relatively close. So I'm going to pull that through. I really hope this is making sense to you guys, because I really don't know how to explain this other than what I'm doing already. Alright, so I'm going to fit my needle in right here and pull that through. And then I'm going to bring it back to the front. So we're going to go about right in here and pull that through. Just like that. Then I'm going to go to the side, so kind of lined up with this. So we're going to go in right around here and pull that through. And we're going to then locate the same spot but from the back and pull that through. And then we're going to attach to right here. So we're going to go in this exact same space and we're going to pull that through. And yeah, that's basically how I make the 8. It isn't perfect, however, I think everyone kind of gets the point. This is supposed to be an 8 ball. So now I'm going to turn this to the back. As you can see right now, it's looking a little messy, but no one's even going to see the back because it's going to not show. So basically what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to take my needle and I'm just going to kind of go along here. So I'm kind of like going under these loops, kind of. Just like this. And then I'm going to pull that through, but not all the way, okay? So you're going to kind of take hold of this and you're going to pull this through. Making sure you keep hold of this. Okay, then I'm going to take this right here. I'm going to twist it this way. I'm going to fit my fingers in, grab this and pull it through. And then make a knot. So this is how it looks to the front and this is how it looks to the back. Honestly, the back does not matter at all because we're going to end up just like hiding this. So we don't even have to sew in no loose ends or nothing. But yeah, this is basically how it looks. So basically, you're going to go ahead and do this whole thing, but you're going to do it one last time. So we need a total of 2 of these. So this is just our first one. Now I'm going to switch colors. So instead of doing white and then green, I'm just going to be doing white and then black. So it can be like 2-sided, but you can do just one color if you want to do or whatever you choose to do. But just make one more of this and then come back to this video so I can show you how to stitch it together. Alright guys, so I finished my second one. So now we're going to be stitching them closed. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my black one and I'm going to flip it this way and then I'm going to put my green one on top. So basically we have both of our right side facing out. So you want to make sure that like they're kind of lined up, so both of the 8s are like kind of, you know, so when you flip it over, it's kind of in the same direction. So now I'm going to take my green yarn. You can use your other color if you want to. I'm going to form a slip knot, just like that, and then I'm going to put my hook in and secure that on my hook. Then I'm going to go into my project. I'm just going to put it in right here and we'll just find the corresponding one on this side. I'm sorry that like this is black and it's kind of hard to see, but you're basically just going to find the other stitch on the other side. Okay, so once you find that stitch, you're going to yarn over and make a slip stitch. So yarn over and pull through 2 of those and then yarn over and pull through the one on your hook. Now if you find this a little tricky, you can also just do single crochet if that's a little easy for you, but just to make this a little neat, we're just going to do slip stitches. So then we're going to go into our next stitch, go into our corresponding one, yarn over, pull through that, and then yarn over and pull through the one on the hook. And we're just going to keep doing slip stitches. I'm just going to keep doing slip stitches until this is about, not all the way closed, but we're just going to keep doing it and do it to about right here and then come back to this video. Alright guys, so I've been closing it up for quite a bit and this is all the space I have left. So now we're going to go ahead and put in the fibre fill. So you're just going to get it. I'm starting off with like a big handful and I'm just going to put it in here. Alright guys, so I think I put about enough fiber fill in here, so now I'm going to go ahead and close up this hole. So we're just going to keep slip stitching, so I'm going to put my hook back in there. And I'm basically just going to keep slip stitching these sides closed until we've reached the end. So just keep doing that. Okay? Alright guys, so I'm towards the end, so I'm going to go into the very last stitch right here. And we're going to go to the corresponding one. Also, by the way, you might have this loose end that we use to attach the yarn on. You can just go ahead and stuff that in there, to be honest. I'm going to locate my last stitch. And we're just going to do one more slip stitch in there. Just like that. And then I'm going to chain one. And then we're going to snip off my yarn. We'll just snip off about right here. And then pull that through. Okay, so now with this loose end, basically what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take my needle. Alright, so now that it's in the needle, I'm basically just going to take this and just going to kind of poke it in. Just like that. And you're going to kind of feed it out this side, okay? And then pull that through. Alright, so then you can go ahead and just snip it off. Right there. And yeah, there we go. The pillow is practically complete. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye!